To engage in a moment of silence for Mrs. Cindy Goldberg and Mr. Dennis Gleason, who passed away over the summer. With us today, I've invited both Mrs. Gleason and Mr. Goldberg, and they are here in the audience. At this time, I'd like to take a few minutes to remember these two great individuals. First, I will start with Cindy. I became acquainted with Cindy, I think, back in the 1990s at Peck School. Cindy was a phenomenal speech pathologist, but she just wasn't a speech pathologist. She was just so much more. Cindy was a good friend, a caring individual, and a consummate educator. I can remember when I was principal at Meade, I would come by and it would be opening day and I would say, "Hey Cindy, how was summer vacation?" And Cindy would say, "Oh, do you want to see what I did over the summer?" And she would compile volumes of curriculum. And matter of fact, Cindy had an idea one day, and she came to me and she says, "Hey, do you think we could go in the classrooms? I want to develop speech in the classroom." So she began teaching with Jamie Ekstrand, and I believe Lynn Ukanowitz was in there at that time as well. And they took social studies, and they began to develop the students' language in social studies. And Cindy wrote the curriculum, the history of Ansonia, and I have that standing in my office. I can go on and on about Cindy Goldberg. I knew her personally, and she was just a special person, and she touched the lives of many. For those who did not know her, it's sad, because she was a wonderful woman. And now I am going to attest to this. I'm going to call on two of her supervisors, Mr. Terry Golson, he was principal of Meade School, and Ms. Kathy Gabrielson, Director of Special Services, to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Malone. Don, I can't see where you are right now. It's wonderful to have met you today. I came into the district in October of 2006, and Cindy was one of the first people that I met. To say that she was a consummate educator only begins to really understand who Cindy was. I met her as a professional, and I learned about her as a person. She touched my life in a way that really gave me the opportunity to learn from her about what my job was. And I don't mean my professional job, I mean my job as a person. Everything that she did with care, she did with concern, and she did with a genuine passion and love. I never saw anything less from Cindy. The way that she would touch the children who came into her life as her students, the way that she touched the professionals that she supervised and mentored as they began their careers, and the way that she very eagerly taught those of us who weren't speech pathologists what it actually meant to be a speech pathologist in an educational system. She did it with grace, she did it with elegance, and she did it with love. And if there's one thing that I can take away from knowing Cindy, it's to remember that what I do, I need to do with all of those things. I was unable to be here on the day of her service. I was out of state. But at 10 o'clock that day, I was with my sister, and I said, "You need to go for a walk. I need to sit down and have a conversation with somebody." And I had a conversation with Cindy, and I could hear her in my head telling me that things were going to work out. Knowing Cindy was one of the greatest blessings that I've ever experienced professionally, and one of the many blessings that I've had in my life personally. And I feel very privileged to have had that experience.
How's everybody doing? I had the wonderful privilege of knowing both people. Dennis Gleason, I knew him as a teacher, I knew him as a colleague, I knew him as my coach. And he taught me to strive for the highest things ever. He was my track coach. He always pushed, always kind, always giving. Just a phenomenal person, you know, and I attribute a lot of great things that I've been able to accomplish, through him, because he was always pushing and trying to get people to do their best. So with that said, death leaves a heartache no one can heal, but love leaves memories no one can steal. Cindy Goldberg was a beautiful woman, and still in my mind, I can see her, and she is a beautiful woman. But to me and you, and all those who knew and loved her, she was more than a woman to me and you. She was a friend you could depend on and share your thoughts, your dreams, and ideas with. You can confide in her and trust her. Yes, more than a woman, she was. She was a loving parent, mother, wife, she was devoted to her family and cared for her friends. Yes, more than a woman. She was so articulate, intelligent. I loved to listen to her as she did her reports during PPT meetings. It was always so professional. It was like poetry. She was phenomenal. Always poised, so kind-hearted to parents and to everyone. During difficult times, she showed so much strength when her husband was ill, as he fought for his life. She endured, she prayed, and he recovered. But what was so remarkable and so inspiring was how she showed us all her strength and determination as she fought during her own illness. She was definitely more than a woman. She showed us dignity and humility, pride, respect, excellence, and integrity, passion for her profession. But most of all, she showed us all how to live life to the fullest. And she showed us all love. The greatest gift that anyone can give is love. She showed us what really mattered, that life is a gift worth living to the fullest. Yes, she was definitely more than a woman. And as we remember Cindy Goldberg, we send our heartfelt prayers of strength and love to the family and to all of you. May you have a double portion of peace. Shalom, shalom. God bless you all.
Before I call upon a few individuals to come up here on behalf of Dennis Gleason, I am going to ask Ms. Mudry to turn on the screen. And for those who did not know Cindy, this is who Cindy really was.
My friends all gather round. Something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside. Strangers are as family and loneliness can hide. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I'd walk these mountains in the rain, learn to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. And I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. Like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is born in the fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can give you everything, but it will give you what you need. Love comes when you are ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you ever made. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your heart. Tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Like Mr. Golson said, Cindy was more. She was more than that educator, more than that artist, more than that musician, more than that parent. And hopefully we all can live up to her character. Another amazing individual who devoted his life to Ansonia students, I knew him as Mr. Gleason because I was in high school when Mr. Gleason was a teacher.